Dan,
Hey,
how are you?
how are you?
You hear me okay? Clear?
Yeah. What a cool studio you got over there.
Oh, dang. This is actually just my basement. But it's like, guitars everywhere, but basses.
Yeah, you're a bass player mainly, right? So it's a
Yeah, it's in the back there. Mostly bass, yeah.
oh, but you have hollow jazz guitars, right?
Yeah. I play a lot of guitar too.
Very
And
cool.
yeah, it's a little bit of
This
both.
is this is uh the kit and the microphones and yada yada.
Yeah. Beautiful kid, actually. I like the gold hardware on
Yeah.
it.
I figured I'll do it once, when I signed with Pearl, they
Yeah,
were like, "Okay, you gotta buy a drum set." So I was like, "Okay, make me one that
very cool.
that I
Well,
won't take out of the house."
yeah. No, I know it. I have the one bass that stays here and the others that, well, depending on the gig.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, welcome Dan to the podcast, and this is also for a magazine article from Jersey Jazz Magazine.
Very cool. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. And before, I just want to make sure I get the pronunciation of your last name proper. Can you pronounce it for me the right way?
Pugach.
Okay,
Pugach, yeah.
that's what I thought. I want to be sure. Cool. Well, first of all, the Grammy. I mean, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Was that a shock for you to have won?
It still is. Um, I didn't it didn't really sink in yet, and I've been saying thank you and everything, been acting normal, but I haven't really. It hasn't really sunk in yet. Um, like if there's a meaning to it, and or a responsibility or anything like that. So um, yeah, we just have been slammed. So like we flew back into a residency at Birdland, like 2 sets per night for 3 nights with Nicole's quartet.
Hmm.
But we don't really live in New York right now. We live up in Connecticut, so
Okay.
so it's kind of like a 2 hour schlep.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, otherwise amazing. Like best experience, best weekend ever. Um,
Sure.
so so I've been distracted, not thinking about it, and but
Right.
yeah, it's been insane. I don't even remember. If you ask me like how was it, I don't really remember much
It's
because
all
of
blurred.
it's all blurred because I remember just thinking to myself, "Oh my God, thank God I've written something down just in case."
Right.
Thinking, okay, there's no chance I'm not gonna win, but just if I do, I don't want to be caught with nothing and
Sure.
start like mumbling something. And so I wrote it down, and then I remember just thinking, thank God I wrote it down because I can't get a word out. I can't even say what I'm trying to read it and I can't. So uh,
Yeah.
that's all I remember. And then they just tossed me in the back between interviews and things like that, and then they split you out into the next one, to the arena, to the telecast, to your seat, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, I watched your speech, and you came off all right. It came off good, man. You seem to.
Really?
Oh
I
yeah.
I never watched it. I can't watch it.
But of course, they played the music to get you. They don't give you a whole lot of time.
No, they gave me some funny chord,
Right.
which was like the
Like hurry up.
wrap it up type of, yeah. Um,
That's
yeah, that was pretty crazy.
cool. Well,
Um,
so if you could tell me about the album is phenomenal. I mean,
Thank you.
obviously it won a Grammy, but when I listen to it, I just think of craftsmanship, artisanship, and it's just like for for big band music, it was really, really refreshing, and I really appreciated it.
Wow, interesting. So cool. Thank you.
My pleasure. I'm sure you've been getting a lot of accolades, but if you could tell me about the creation, because it's quite an interesting concept. Bianca Reimagined, music for pause and persistence. Even the title is pretty.
Yeah. So this speaks uh, to like the shelter dogs that we've been rescuing for like 15 years, and we were living in New York for 15 years until the pandemic. So we were rescuing mainly pit bulls from shelters in the city, and those dogs were usually on like a euthanasia list because they were either sick or running out of time or whatever. And then we got into like fostering dogs, fostering uh, these animals until we found them a home or got them adopted or adopted them. So one of them was one special one was Bianca, and we kept her and we had her like until she passed in like 2018, and she was like the mascot. She had her own Instagram, Bianca the Jazz Dog. Everybody knew her. She would walk off leash in Brooklyn in Park Slope, like Fifth Ave, Fifth Street. In front of cops, like she would just like walk off leash in on Fifth Ave, and she would be off leash in like on stages and jazz festivals and everywhere, and she even peed during my drum solo at the 55 bar, like she was just with a nonet. So I wrote a tune for her that tried to capture her like calm gentleness. And that tune became a piece, that I later brought to the BMI Jazz Composer Workshop, um, and tested it out for big band, and then it ended up winning this. It was showcased at the premiere, and then it won the BMI Charlie Parker um, composition prize slash commission for the next year. So now I'm moving from writing for a nonet, which is like just for me to jam with and take a small group around. Now I'm writing for big band,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, if I'm doing it, then I'm doing it. So I'm writing and I'm collecting repertoire, and and as we're doing it, we're recording, we're you know we're putting the project out. We have another rescue named Bella, and then I wrote a tune. I named a tune that I didn't have a title for.
Mhm.
I brought the tune between nights. I finished it overnight between the first day and the second day in the studio with the big band. I finished that tune. And I was like, I'll try it. There's not too much to it, but I'll bring it just to have a little break from all those like big pieces that are like like so pressure on the composer to like showcase. I was like, let me just bring a tune with nothing in it, and that was Bella the Bear, and it became really cool with like a long trombone solo, and
All right.
that's it.
That one instantly, the title alone, like instantly connected with me because my daughter is Bella,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, and I have a song on one of my records called Berlioz the Bear. So it's like
Wow,
kind of like this. It just kind of like that one popped out, just the title.
that's so cool. Yeah, so we titled it like later because we brought her to the session, and uh, and then she passed this year, like I mean in 2024 when we were recording. So, this whole record became kind of about dedication to those rescue dogs, and you know songs about the angle from a shelter dog, like from someone who's like in the cage. So like we added um our last session was in May, and we added a little fears that was
Mhm.
nominated for like best jazz performance, and the bridge, the bridge is like a song about where dogs like go to like the Rainbow Bridge, which is like dog heaven type of thing.
Yeah.
Anyone who lost a pet, can relate. Um, and then Little Fears is like straight up like from a point of view like in a cage type of
Mm.
so it can be interpreted in many ways,
Right, right.
but it's originally from like a dog or like a shelter, point
Really,
of
yeah,
view.
yeah. I mean, I've had rescue dogs, and it's such a beautiful thing to do, and it's cool that you do that. And yes, very often they're pit bulls because they're hard to place.
Yeah, because they end up in the system. They're easy to breed and sell, and when they're puppies, they all look the same. So people
Right.
sell them as here's a poodle,
Right. Then all of a sudden you got this massive.
and then you end up in a family that is like, we can't deal with this, and
Yeah.
it ends up in the shelter. No, whose fault, So
Right.
you can't really stop the breeding thing, Like what are you gonna? So so anyway, we like those animals. We try to speak for them,
Very
um,
nice.
and showcase a lot of success stories. So like the persistence, like pause and persistence is like the transformation type of journey
Mm.
that we go through and the animals go through, and this whole thing is like it has like a trajectory of like triumph. You know what I'm saying? It's like it goes from struggle to through love and like dedication. It becomes this like beautiful stuff. And then they die. And then you're like, and then it's a ballad.
Sadness of it. I mean, they don't last that
Yeah,
long. I know. Uh,
yeah, that's the hard part. It's like,
it really is. It really
yeah,
is. My little guy's getting older now. He's still good, but yeah, it's just like just
no, it's
start
hard. Yeah,
realizing there's an expiration date.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man. It's crazy. But the so one of the songs I wanted to ask you about, very interesting how you reinterpreted Dreams, the Van Halen tune, which I love the tune. I mean, I love that Sammy Hagar era of Van Halen. I think sometimes I'm in the minority there, but like what made you think to do that tune in the way that you did?
In the way, or like why at all? Like
Well, I guess both. Why did you choose the tune first of all?
the tune was chosen for me. The tune kind of like sparked the whole. That and Bianca kind of sparked the album idea. So
Hmm.
this tune was like a pandemic assignment by a friend slash fan slash friend that was like, okay, I'll give you something to do. Write an arrangement of Dreams. Why? Because the video, like the original song that they released, was with like fighter jets and right.
Yeah, yeah, it was. You're right.
And so this guy, his uh, his family member became the first pilot in the Navy for like the Blue Angels, FA-18 fighter jet. He just got his wings or something like that. So he was like, write a chart and make it happen like a remote. Remember those remote recordings we did in the pandemic with the boxes?
Yeah,
I hated those, but
I know.
uh, I was like, okay, and then I was like, okay, so any restrictions? Or he was like, do you? I was like, okay, then I'm gonna do big band. If I can, then I'm doing big band. So I wrote this chart, and yeah, I got stuck on this vamp, and I was like, okay, he's gonna solo on that vamp. And then let me just find a way to get to that vamp. So yeah, I somehow I kept some parts of the melody. I kept everything. I just shaved the chords
Mm.
and put some new ones and some vamps in between. And I bought a lot of time with that vamp, and then I brought the backgrounds in that cue to like the next chord. I kept the original chords, but I kind of sparsed between each
Yeah,
other.
yeah. Mhm.
And I just bought a little time. I just like did like a little zoom in, zoom out type of thing. That's all. Uh, but it's all in there, like I didn't change melodies or anything like that.
Yeah, no, the song is still there for sure, and I mean, the guitarist rips it up on that.
Yeah, Pete McCann.
Ah, wow, and Nicole too. I mean,
Oh
God,
yeah, it's
what a voice. Yeah,
yeah, and doing it live, I mean, it's hard with the big band, like 13 cats in their ears with the trumpets.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
pretty
but
wild.
it's fun. I love the big band. I like the nonet too, but big band for me is the sound that I always wanted to hear.
Yeah, very interesting. So let's talk about that if I could. So, how did you get like first of all, there's not a lot of drummers that I could think of who've led big bands. Well, that's not true. Chick Webb, I guess, but he didn't much write for Buddy Rich and stuff. But it's kind of unique to have somebody who is a drummer to write for big band music, I think. And could you talk about your interest in big band? Like, how did you come to really want to write for big band? Because it's quite a task. I've tried it. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's worth it for that smack on the snare with eight brass together.
Yeah.
Smack, there's nothing like it. So um, I
Were you?
started,
Yeah. Go. I'm sorry.
yeah, I started listening when I was young. When I was getting into jazz, I immediately got exposed to Mel Lewis, Tad Jones, Vanguard Orchestra, and that was my the god, like the gold. That's the best, the ultimate. And then everything else that came out of that, and before that. So I started exploring, Duke Ellington, Basie, and everyone else, Brookmeyer. But what, but what really tipped me to get into writing was not until I got to City College, and I met Mike Holliber, who was an amazing composer, piano player, and he was teaching like the jazz seminar there, and he said, "Okay, bring choose a standard or whatever, and bring a chart for five horn and four rhythm." And everybody brought a chart, and I tried my best, and I brought something, and Mike Oliver said, "Oh man, like you brought a full-fledged arrangement, with everything in it." And I don't know, I took it seriously. I don't know. I tried. I felt really like um, not up to par in that program, right? As everyone else was kind of like musicology, and very serious cats. So I was always trying to do my best. So I guess maybe I did maybe too much, but I brought a full a full arrangement, and he was like, "Man, you should get into this. Like you should, you have some gaps in your toolbox, but you have some good intuition for this. So check out Alan Ferber, check out Kenny Wheeler, check out these things." And I got into it, and I started writing for an nonet, and I've been doing it since. And I learned by doing it. So like I would get the boys or whoever over to our apartment in Park Slope,
Right.
and just like move the furniture and have the whole band with their, the thing that spits out of the trombone, on the floor. Like with the dogs, there was always a dog in there, like, and they would say, "Listen, I mean, if you are you sure about this? Are you sure about that? Try this, try this, try this," and that's how I learned pretty much. And then at some point, I took a break from it.
Mhm.
But two reasons: one, I was broke, and two was I felt stuck. I felt like I don't really like what I'm doing. I don't really write as fast or as well as I want to. I was like, I gotta take a break, get gigs, and then relearn it. So then I got into books, and did exercises from for the bottom up, and then I had the vocabulary language to be able to look at scores, and stuff would pop out instead of just like be in the dark. So then I started writing for big band more and more, and I think that also helped with the nonet. So I write back and forth.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even just the technical elements of just trying to get. So I play regularly with this nonet, and we're just trying to get together once a month with 9 people is hard enough, and at least let alone a big band of skilled musicians. I mean, everyone's so busy, right?
Yeah,
But you have to really love it, to pursue it. And I'm glad that you did. It's so cool that big band music still it's still out there. I mean, it's less and less, but you know, it's
it
so much
it's
part of.
very cool to get some acknowledgement for original music that's not trying to copy or preserve something, or it's just music that exists and is just genuine. And um I mean, I'm it's just original music, so it's nice to have a place for that.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. And yeah, like you said, especially that it's an original. Um, that's great, man. It really is cool. Um,
And
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, no, I enjoy it very much. Now, in terms of finding opportunities for performance with the big band, how is that for you?
It's been great. There are a bunch of little festivals and outdoor series that are coming up, in the summer and fall, and we're playing a drum in Lower East Side, on Avenue A.
Sure. Hmm.
That's a cool spot. So we're playing there February 20th with the full big band. We squeeze on stage, but we also like the intimacy, because then it's less, it's more. I can control the dynamics a lot better. I put myself in the front, next to, like, in the piano,
Oh,
and
okay.
the bass is like right behind me. The guitar is right behind me, and I'm next to all the horn, and we're all like glued together like a trio type of vibe.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. Like we can control the dynamics a lot. Like we can be very loud for a second and then drop to like zero, and then you can hear the piano like you know play soft. So that's cool. We play there. We're gonna play in Connecticut. Yeah, we have a pretty busy schedule for a big band and or a nonet. We're playing in March. We have a residency at the Django at
Okay.
the Roxy Hotel with the nonet. So we're playing every Tuesday. I have to tell the nonet that I haven't I
Give
haven't
it a
I
here.
haven't got to that yet. But
Nice.
every Tuesday we're at the Django in the evening. Yeah, I made that like every month throughout the year. We'll have either a nonet or a big pancake. I think either in town or a different market that's like manageable. Deerhead
Very.
Inn, like we're gonna be at Deerhead Inn.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I think end of May with the nonet, and then with the big band in December, like a holiday. I'm like, here's a holiday show, and then we played three holiday charts.
And then you yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No, we do more, but you
Mhm.
know.
That's cool that you. That's great, man. And those are great venues too. I mean, I'm not far. I'm in New Jersey, so I'm
Yeah.
not.
So yeah,
And of course, the Deerheads, legendary. And yeah, very cool.
yeah, we love that spot.
Yeah. Now, I talked a lot about your big band writing and leadership, but let's if I can talk about your drumming because also, I mean, you do a remarkable job at like helping direct those tunes from the drum set. And I just your drumming in particular, I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Can you talk about maybe some of your influences on the drums? And was that your first instrument?
Yeah, I'm only a drummer. It's a miracle. Every time there's a chart, it's by miracle. Um, I use the piano, but I can't play. I don't sit and play. Like I'm like, if you have to sit next to me when I'm composing, you want to shoot yourself. It's like ask my wife. It's like, "Brr." brr, 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 for like an hour. So yeah, my instrument is drums, and my biggest like influence on how I came up in jazz was Roy Haynes, and you know, Now He Sings, Now He Sobs by Chick Corea. That album,
Great one.
you know, destroyed me and rebuilt me. And I've been I've been hearing that sound, that cymbal, that crispy swing, very loose but very in there, like you know. That's been my biggest influence in my anytime like I get lost or like I get distracted or I try to sound more modern or I don't know whatever I'm going through. I always find my center like focusing on that sound, on that feel, that dancey, danceable type of cymbal beat, Roy Haynes school. So that's been my that's been my as far as the way I accompany, like the way I think of it, like I accompany the band.
Right.
Um, I'm pretty focused on the score. Like when I play those charts with the big band,
Hmm.
I write it, but at some point I don't remember a lot of the details because of there's just so much of it, and I jump back and forth. And so for a successful show that sounds good, I also have to sound good. That's something I noticed that if I was sloppy at the drums, it would affect the band.
Right.
So I'm following scores, and I'm really trying to sound clean and clear. Um, I noticed that if I bring my chart to
Mhm.
like a not my band and I'm not playing,
Right.
then yeah, I could probably write the drum part better. But even then, just like the different interpretation and different ears for where the melody is and what's happening and what's important or not, it's very different. So I noticed that I don't want to play on top of a melody or the vocalist or too much on a solo or anything. I just want to exist there,
Right.
be heard, but not be like hurt. Like me. I just want to be like felt, not not disturbing. So so that's
Yeah.
that's that's where I come from. And then when I have a solo, I go crazy. It sounds like a wheelchair falling down the stairs on some weird meter, and then
And
hopefully it's over. I have fun, and I look at Sam, the bass player, and we're laughing, and
but everything you said actually really comes through. Like when I was taking notes on the record, I was like, and your drumming in particular, there's a certain degree of clarity that like really exists there, and your cymbal. Well, first of all, your drums are the whole thing's recorded beautifully, but your drums sound great on there, and I'm weirdly aware of cymbals, and yeah, just the textures that you come up with on your cymbals and stuff, really crisp. But I do think like if it didn't have your name attached to it, you wouldn't know necessarily that it's a drummer's band per se, right? Because like you said, you're not Buddy Riching it. You're not, that's so much.
yeah, uh,
Uh,
th- yeah. I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, there's a place for that. He did that. He's amazing. Like you know.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's definitely in service of the music, and I did want to commend you on your solo. I forget which one, the track is escaping me, but there is one where you kind of mess with the time, and it's really cool, man. It doesn't sound like a wheelchair fall.
I'm just assuming that's what it sounds like to someone who's not a musician or who's not a drummer. All the sound is like do 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 do. Um, that's what like living with a drummer probably sounds like. So
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. Um, cool. If I could go back, so I just recently had another Israeli musician, Talia Hallam.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you know him? Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you could talk about, if you don't mind, your upbringing in Israel and what, like, how did you discover jazz? Was there a jazz scene there that you discovered?
Yeah, I found out about jazz through a drum teacher that was like the jazz guru. He's like one of the first pioneers who like spent a lot of time in New York and Brazil, and then was playing everywhere, and then came back to Israel and kind of brought it back, type of before like in the 70s. Um,
What was his name?
Aurele Kaminsky, Aaron. It's like Aaron Kaminsky, and he's still around, and he is a mother. He's great drummer, and he got me hip to everything. And he was a good friend of Mel Lewis when they were like borrowing each other's drum kits for like wedding gigs and whatever. And during that time, I discovered jazz, and I got into like a high school jazz program. Not the famous one in Tel Aviv, but another one in my hometown in Ra'anana, called Metro West High School, and they had a music program, and I got in there, and I started with cats that also studied at Berkeley and came back to Israel, like Mamelo, Orpheos Gaitanopoulos, and a bunch of cats like that. And next thing you know, I'm like looking for a cymbal sound, and instead of like playing with like chinas and double bass, and five toms, which I did before that, growing up as a kid.
Oh, so
So
you started as a rock, like,
I started as a rock drummer, like just like let me just play anything.
right.
Um, and then I got into jazz, and I became more interested in exploring the depth as I was discovering it. Um, I had a huge hard bop era. Still, I mean, it never ends. But these were my kind of like my big influences, and then I ended up in the Air Force band. I auditioned for the army. I had to go to the Air Force band. I played drums there, so that was more like pop and rock and folk and things like that. Some jazz, but not a lot. And during that service, I also went to the jazz school in at Ramon, which is like another, that's like a jazz school that has a credit program with Berkeley in Boston. So I did that, and then I went to Brazil. I studied some percussion and drums in Rio for 3 months. I
Mhm.
studied Portuguese before that.
Right.
I had the Brazilian bug, like I still do, but I was playing like a lot of percussion, like batucada gigs and samba gigs, and got into like the actual music, not just the percussion, and got into the music from Rio and studied in Rio with a bunch of cats. Marcio Bahia, who was the drummer of Hermeto, and Celso Silva, the pandero player of uh, Everybody. Um, and then I did Berkeley. I went there for 2 years. I studied with Terry Lynn Carrington, who kicked my butt. She was like, "Okay, buddy, you sound like Roy Haynes a little bit, aren't you?" And I was like, "Maybe." And she was like, "Okay, that's great, but no more. You gotta sound like you." And so I said, "But I want to sound like Roy Haynes." She was like, "You cannot. You can no longer." So she like opened my sound up and my playing. She was like, "Dude, like, what about Jack DeJohnette?" I was like, "Yeah, I love Jack, but I can't play like Jack. But I want to. So she really opened my playing up, and then I moved to New York, and I got to City College to get a master's. Hung out with like Pat Tucci, we did the ensemble. Um, and Scott Reeves was there, Ray Gallen, and Mike Oliver, and that was the program then. Wasn't very jazz heavy. Was very classical and research, like musicology. Like you see me talking about me defending a sonata form, yada yada. I'm like, look here, and they're like, yeah, but what about blah blah blah? And I'm like, no, you're wrong. This, and they're like, okay, we give you an A. I was like, what? What? What's happening? Um, and that's it. That's the story.
Well, I mean, it's a good story.
ah,
Um, so you were at I'm a little bit older than you by a few years. You were at Berkeley. I was at Berkeley as well. What years were you there?
I was there 2006 to 2008.
Okay, I was long gone by then. Yeah, I left
Were
in
you
two.
there with Gilad Ronen?
No, let's see. Who would you know? Antonio Sanchez
Oh,
was
so like Anat Cohen, Antonio, Avishai,
a little bit. Yeah. So I was
uh,
there. We're 98. Um,
Chris Deputado, maybe. Chris.
yeah. I don't remember if he was there, but there was quite a few. John Mayer was there at the time, but Jeremy Pelt was there.
Ah, okay.
So there was some definitely cat. It definitely I met my wife there, and it has changed quite a bit from I think when I went until now. Very much still when I was there was still kind of jazz focused, and then it seems to have really exploded into something
Yeah.
new.
So Hal Crook and
Yes,
Garzon, and they were all there still. They were all there, yeah?
yeah. In fact, Garzone, I had a weekly gig, and he would come and play pretty regularly, which was really cool. He was friends with the piano player, and
Ah,
he
you
had
know what? This reminds me actually that did you know Bob Gilotti,
yes.
the drummer? So
I knew of him. I would see him play.
yeah, I didn't know him personally, but when I was a kid, when I was like 10, my parents took me to the south of Israel to Eilat, which is like the resort town, and there was a hotel where there's a couple of two Israeli musicians, a husband and wife, Ofer and Iris Portugali. I think they went to Berkeley also. And they brought Bob Gilotti and they were playing, and that was the first time I saw jazz live ever. And he
Oh,
gave me his drumsticks, and I was like, oh my God.
yeah, karate. I mean, what an amazing So I would see him play with John. My teacher for a while was John Lockwood, the bass player.
Yeah, with the fringe, right?
Yeah, so I would
At
go
like Lily Pad, or what's it called?
at the time they were at a different venue. I can't remember. It was outside of Boston, but not far. Uh, yeah, they were great.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have, Boston's got its own set of musicians that some people don't even realize.
I haven't even been since 2008.
Yeah, I just recently went back last year, but no, not for anything, but to bring my kids there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's cool. So then, can you talk about meeting Nicole
Yeah.
and just, I think, are you the only two husband and wives that have a Grammy? Probably not, but there's not many.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tana and Antonio are pretty. I mean, both of them are like either nominated or maybe he won with like Matheny
Right.
or yeah. But I mean, Grammy or not, there's a lot of musician couples
That's true.
that are pretty crushing it and are also good friends of ours, like Dave Cook and Shayna Steele, Tana and Antonio, Rachel Z and Omar Hakim, Julia Adamy and Ross Peterson. I could sit here forever with name all our friends. Uh, what are
So
we?
how'd you guys meet?
So she grew up in. So she's from Connecticut. She grew up. She was born in Waterbury. Grew up in Litchfield, like through the Litchfield Jazz Camp and Festival and all that. She she went there and she was a trombone player for a minute when she was a kid. Um, she was coming up there as a vocalist at some point. Became a TA and under a lot of very cool, well-known vocalist and stuff. I forgot their names. Um, and then she moved back to New York after she got her opera degree from NYU, and she reconnected with cats from Litchfield, uh, like Julian Shore, and I know Julian Shore from Berkeley because we were together. We were playing there together with Hal Crook and everything, and so we met in Brooklyn. Uh, um, Frequently at my place to jam, and then we would like have lunch or grab a beer or whatever. And we were playing with like Jeff Miles, the guitar player, um, and Julian Shore, and then Nicole shows up, and I was like, "Who is this?" And we started playing together, and I heard her band. She put a gig together at what's that place called on 72nd Sugar Bar.
Yeah.
Ashford and Simpson's Sugar Bar. And I went to see it, and then I was like, "Oh, if you need help, like I'm happy to play or help out or whatever." And we became best friends, and we were playing together and everything. And it wasn't anything until she started awkwardly hitting on me in front of the band and everything, making it weird. And I said, "Dude, come on! Like, I don't want to. Let's just play music. It will be great. Why ruin it? Because I really cherished like the musical connection between us. I was like, man, this is something I don't want to shake. Um, so it ended up not listening to me, and then we ended up together, and then we broke up, and then we ended up together again, and then we got married, and we found each once we found each other again, we that was it, and because even when we were broken up, we never stopped. We couldn't stop playing together. We
Right.
we made a record together when we were broken up.
Mm.
Um, and then we found each other again and got back together, and have been doing good and playing her stuff and playing my stuff, and you know and then the
Right.
pandemic, we a lot of couples didn't survive the pandemic, and we we had difficulties like everyone else, but if you look at it, if you look back, pretty insane, what we did. We ended up starting a live stream every Friday for like 2 years. Every Friday we had a live stream from our place. I was playing drums here, she was playing keyboard and singing in the other room. We saw each other on cameras, and I set up a whole thing. I learned how to do it just by doing it.
Mm.
And we built a whole audience, like a whole community, that every Friday at 5 p.m. would like log in, and people would like talk to each other and take requests, and we would jam, and that's what we did in the pandemic.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the short story. That's the short version.
No, no, it's great. I mean, really cool. And now, in terms of like what you have moving forward, any current projects you want to talk about? Any? You did mention a bunch of your gigs.
Yeah, there's a few shows, but both the big band and the nonet. It's on my website, and also I'm playing with Nicole's quartet, and we're pretty busy, so we're gonna be in Florida, and then Vegas, and then Toronto, and then Europe, I think, and a bunch of stuff back and forth. So we're gonna record her album soon, and for me, this is all new. So um, I'm I have music that I'm working on for big band and nonet, um, and so I might go back and record. What else is there to do?
Okay. Now, do you do any teaching as well?
Not officially, not right now. Um, I do usually like workshops or master classes type of things when we travel and end up at universities and colleges with like music programs. So like sometimes I'll bring either the nonet or the big band. Maybe they'll play it. Maybe we'll play for them. Maybe we'll, you know. So we do those type of things.
Mhm.
Um, I took some drum students at the new school that they sent me. I'm open. I haven't really pursued it, like I was focused on like pursue the goal, like to play out and get the music out there and focus on that. And then if a teaching position or teaching opportunity comes up, then I'll check it out.
Right. Yeah, very cool. So, Dan, what did I miss? Did I miss anything?
I don't know what else. uh, you're where in Jersey?
So I'm by the Jersey Shore. So I'm about, it takes me about an hour and a half with traffic to get to Manhattan. Shouldn't take that long, but
What, like Brick or Asbury or
oh, you know the area.
a little
Actually,
bit?
yeah, my town borders Brick, so it's Howell Township.
Okay.
Teach at Monmouth University, which is Long Branch. So a lot of my gigs are Red Bank, Asbury Park, Jersey Shore.
Yeah, so you know the what's his name? Yeah, the in Red Bank, the jazz. I forgot. Yeah, we
Oh,
played them.
Joe Muccioli is you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
So it's a good amount of opportunities in this little area. So
Yeah.
uh,
Also, what's it called? Chicken and Bone Beach. There was a jazz thing there. Uh,
we have we have the Long Branch Jazz Festival.
Long Branch. Yeah.
I'm, I'm a member, like I'm on the board of that Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues. Bunch of jam. I run a jam session, monthly. There's things going on and some good players.
Ah,
So
very cool.
yeah, it's
But I
nice.
mean, a lot of cats can drive from like Philly and
Yeah,
right, like
yeah.
it's
Philly's
like
cool.
another suburb. It's no longer a big deal. Like
Right. Yeah,
you're a part of you're mainly a part of like I'm on the upper part. You're on the bottom part of like
yeah. It's all the same, right?
the
It's just
same. Yeah.
the difficult part is like when people call me for a gig in Manhattan, you got to like kind of calculate the cost.
Yeah.
How much
Yeah.
is this gig going to cost me at the end? So sadly, I don't play there as much anymore. I used to live in North Jersey, but yeah, this little area, keeps me pretty busy. Still some gigs in the city, but not as much.
Very cool. So you're on the beach or like close by?
I'm about 15 minutes from the beach,
Oh, okay. Very cool.
so I'm pretty close by. But yeah, that part's great. You know. Yeah. So yeah, man. At some point, maybe we'll play together
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
or across paths, and I'll definitely come and try to check you out at one of these performances. And I definitely encourage the listeners to check out the record Bianca Reimagined. Music for Paws and Persistence. What a great name. And all your other projects as well.
Come have a cappuccino in West Haven. That's where we are. It's right on 95, like
Yeah, all right,
way
good
way up.
pizza, right? You're known for pizza over there, right?
Yeah, there's good pizza in West Haven, New Haven. People here will kill each other over which pizza is better.
That's so
For
funny.
someone who moved from New York, I'm like, are you guys, do you guys even realize like
Every corner is good pizza.
yeah, pizza is pizza. You just fold it like so.
People take it serious, man.
Yeah, so
See that?
funny.
That's cool. All right, hey man, I wish you the best of luck with everything, and
Man,
thanks.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Sure. And, I'll send you a copy of the article. This will be in next month's uh, edition for Jersey Jazz Magazine. And
Very cool. Let me know if you need a ticket. If you consider, I don't know, whenever you can hit me up last minute. Be like, now, and I'll be like, okay, you're on the list. Like I'll just,
great,
whether
appreciate it.
whether it's me or Nicole. And do you have the CD? Can I mail you the CD?
Oh, sure. I'd love a copy. I'll send you my address.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you sent me your email, right?
We
I,
we're connected to Anna on the email.
right.
So yeah, if you could drop the address, I'll send you some.
Excellent. And I'll send you a copy of my new CD as well.
Beautiful, sweet,
All right.
awesome.
Very cool. All right. Hey, great talking to you, man.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye bye.